This is a conversation with Devon Weston, the publisher West for Arcadia Publishing, and she's going to give you an overview of the publishing process, especially if you're a first-time author, what to expect, how to approach Arcadia Publishing, and all the details therein. All right, so Devon, someone is out there in the United States and they've got an idea in their head and it involves local history, and they're thinking that maybe this is the first time to put together their first book. Why should they come to Arcadia? What is it about Arcadia that other local history publishers may not offer or may not, have the experience to really take care of the first-time author?
Well, I think in my mind, what Arcadia can offer above and beyond most other local history publishers, one is just accessibility, and that spans from, the author to the audience. Everything about our model is aimed at making local history accessible. And, for our authors, that means they come to us. We're not a subsidy press, so they're not going to pay any money for the production of their book.
Which is a huge question, because there are a lot of outfits out there that I don't know if I'd call it bait and switch necessarily, but there is a sense where once you're in then that people don't realize they've actually got to pay to play, essentially.
Exactly, and that actually, for our local authors who have had experience publishing, many of them have done that kind of publishing, self-publishing, vanity presses, that kind of thing, where you either publish with ads in the back or you end up having to pay for your entire print run. Arcadia actually covers all of the costs from production, editorial, through sales and marketing. We distribute the book for you, but our authors still have the ability to purchase the book for fundraising, that kind of thing. We work with a lot of historical societies, so they tend to be able to really, use it if they are doing fundraising activities, that kind of thing.
And in that sense, Arcadia really is a very, there are certain unconventional things we'll get into, but it's a very conventional publisher in that your book goes in the stores, it goes on Amazon, it goes on the Arcadia website. Your book is available just the way any other book in the world is available.
Exactly, and we do place all of our books in national chains, Borders, Barnes & Noble, like you said, Amazon, and our own website. But we also have a very locally focused sales and marketing model. Our sales representatives work with each one of our authors to gather creative ideas for where in their town the book could be placed, whether it's a coffee shop that just, is dying to carry that book on their counter, or the hardware store, or the pharmacy. We work with our authors to place the books there as well, and just everywhere around town where there might be an interest. And then, of course, our marketing department works with them as well to set up signings and lectures and, go to libraries, that kind of thing. So our authors are our local experts from the, part where they're putting the book together, and they know who has the photos, and they know, the trunks in the attics, and they also know, who in town is going to be interested in hosting a book signing or selling that book on their counter, and just from start to finish, our authors really are our experts, and we rely on them. So.
Well, let's go through it. So how does the process work? What would they do first, and what would be the best way to get involved with Arcadia Publishing?
The first thing to do is definitely, if you are on our website, we have publishing links just to get in touch with your regional office, depending on where you're interested. From there, we have regional editors who will sort of follow up with this first-time author and discuss their idea, and then begins the proposal process. So we send a package of information. The proposal process itself is really the sort of the foundation for the book, and it's what jettisons the book into what it will eventually become. So an editor will work very closely with an author during that time, just sort of discussing the game plan, discussing timelines, photographs, all that kind of thing. And then the author actually proposes the book. Our publishing committees meet very frequently, and generally speaking, when an editor has worked with an author at that proposal stage, there's a very good chance that we're going to all be, enthusiastic about it. So from there, the actual book creation begins. But the very first step is really, getting in touch with the regional office, talking to that regional editor, and we have, 4 regional offices and many, many more editors. So
and I would offer, as an Arcadia author myself, what I like about the process is that it's fairly quick. I mean, there's not a lot of red tape. When you reach out to somebody, you hear back quickly. I mean, the process seems like it's set up to really facilitate an idea.
Exactly.
And make it happen. And like a lot of first-time authors and multiple-time authors know, the waiting game is a big deal, and you can wait to hear months and months from agents and publishers. So I think there's something that's actually refreshing about the fact that you're contacted back quickly. Again, you're at least given the shot to pitch your idea in a very timely way, and then hear about it in a timely way as well.
Yeah, and our editors, our format, what we do one thing, and we do it very well, and that's, regional photo history books. And I think, when an editor sees an idea that could work for us, we pursue it, and we're really enthusiastic to be working with each one of our new authors, our repeat authors, all of them. So.
Mm-hmm. What questions do you get primarily from first-time authors after they approach you?
I think it depends. If it's a first-time author who's never worked on any book before, it's just sort of, what's going to be involved? What's the timeline? How am I going to do this? How are you going to help me do this? And just details such as, why my town? Or, how do you select your books? That kind of thing. I think a lot of authors who have had, as we were discussing, previous publishing experience, it's, how much is this going to cost me? And, is there a royalty? And, the kinds of sometimes negative experiences that authors have had on previous publishing experiences sort of color their perception of what it might be like to work on a new book. So.
And as far as royalties, I know that comes up a lot, and that's fairly traditional too, as far as how Arcadia approaches it, right?
It is. We pay a standard royalty on the net amounts received of all copies of the book sold. It's the same across the board. All of our authors get the same thing. That's one thing that we really try to strive for is just sort of a unilateral treatment of all of our authors from contract stage through, sales, distribution, all that kind of thing. So,
what do you get feedback-wise? The first author who comes in, or the person who's never written a book, their first book comes out. Is there a level of excitement? Is there feedback that you get from that first-time author about what it's like to see their name on a printed page for the first time?
Absolutely. Yeah, actually, it's funny. I'm laughing to myself because just this morning I had the pleasure of sending out a cover proof to a first-time author, and she said it brought tears to her eyes to see it. So she's not even at the stage where she's holding her book. She just saw her cover, and she said it brought tears to her eyes. We hear that a lot of just absolute exuberance in seeing all of those months of hard work really come to fruition. For many of our authors, we're the only publisher who gives them the opportunity to publish a book on their town. Most, towns that we work with, many towns that we work with are very small, and they wouldn't have otherwise had that opportunity. So some of them, it's a lifetime of work. And it's interesting, too, because I think just the format itself of photos and of the way that our authors gather them, they get this really first-hand feedback from the community, people who literally see their grandma in, the picture on page 12, and just a lot of immediate personal, family stories that are coming back to them, and it's really a wonderful experience, not just for our authors, but for the community to have that kind of history accessible to them.
Devon, as far as what a first-time author or any author should have in preparation when they pitch, in terms of number of images, usually falls in the, 160 to 200 range in there?
Yep. Our books range from 180 to 240 images. Most authors end up right in the middle, somewhere around 200. I think, when you actually propose your book, it isn't necessary to actually have those images. It is, we think, very important that you know where you're going to get them, that you've done a little bit of initial investigation. But that's another reason we really encourage people to get in touch with our publishing departments first. Because our editors do know the sources in their regions, and they can help authors and suggest places that they can approach. Just an idea of those 200 or so images and where they're going to get them is very important.